Melodies seem to form inside of you. The flow of your body drips off like flower dew. Sure, I know that your stem has a story. Melodies seem to form inside of you. The flow of your body drips off like flower dew. Sure, I know that your stem has.
Hi, I'm Effie Barker. We are right here in downtown Los Angeles. When you say we're not going away with these issues, what are those issues? Good evening. Welcome to the special edition of I'm Effie Barker. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. Hello, Great Britain. Hello, world. Welcome to Effie Barker Human Interest. I'm your host, Effie Barker. I am a Filipino American immigrant. I am married to an Englishman. I moved here in 2019, now living in Portsmouth in Hampshire with our 3-year-old daughter. I am a former TV host and reporter in Los Angeles, California, and today's episode I will be talking to an American singer-songwriter. So before we start, why don't we listen and be inspired to one of her music, shall we?
In a room full of people, I am zoomed in on you. The whole world's out of focus. You smile and say hello. Gotta catch my breath though. I've never felt this way before, no. Tell me what I wanna hear. You come back to my place. Fast forward another year. Now you're saying you need space. Yo no puedo respirar sin ti. Yo no duermo, solo lloro por ti. ¿Por qué me dices tonterías? No puede ser así. Yo no puedo respirar sin ti.
It's not like I don't want you, I just get turned around. I get lost in my feelings, and I can't get it out. You took me to places I wasn't ready to go. Don't know why it ended, but one thing's for sure. Ever since I walked away, it just haven't felt right. I think about you each night.
Yo no puedo respirar sin ti. Yo no duermo, solo lloro por ti. ¿Por qué me dices tonterías? No puede ser así. Yo no puedo respirar sin ti. I can't breathe without you, baby. I can't sleep without you, baby. I can't breathe without you, baby. I can't sleep without you, baby. I can't breathe without you, baby. I can't sleep respirar sin ti. I can't breathe without you, baby. Yo no duermo, solo lloro por ti. I can't breathe without you. ¿Por qué me dices tonterías? No puede ser así. Yo no puedo respirar sin ti.
Right. As an immigrant myself, I have always been passionate about the journey and the sacrifices that immigrants have to go through in order to settle in a new country. I know that There are so many things that many people know little about, the challenges that we immigrants had to hurdle, the loneliness, the helplessness while adapting to a new environment. To some who are starting to have a new family, the challenges are insurmountable and overwhelming. Most women had to deal with not only the physical changes after birth, also looking after the baby, and we often get stuck allowing the problem to compound upon ourselves until we believe that a solution is hopeless. The show, Effie Barker Human Interest, stems from my own personal journey as an immigrant, and I'd like to use this platform to be the voice of not only the immigrants, but to everyone who feel the need to be heard. And I want to delve into the daily life, the ups and downs, and the joys and sorrows, and the triumphs and failures of being an immigrant here in the UK. It is also my desire that people will have a full grasp of the life of the immigrants and to inspire them to be compassionate and understanding. Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, all, wherever you are in the world. Welcome. Our guest for today is originally from Rhode Island, USA. She later moved to Yucca Valley in California and later moved here in the UK in 2016. Let's welcome Grace Angelique. Let's welcome Grace. How are you? Welcome.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Of course, finally, we're here. And yes, we heard the song Respirar.
Yes.
Tell me about it. I heard something talking about family, missing family. Did I hear it right?
So Respirar is a love song, but my mom is from Argentina, and so we speak a lot of Spanish at home. I don't really speak Spanish in the UK, so I thought that I would write something and bring a little bit more of a Latina vibe to the UK.
Oh, okay. So you speak Spanish. It's really amazing when people speak two different languages. Well, I do too. But so why don't you speak the Spanish here? You just don't have anybody to speak it with, or
No, I don't really know anybody who does Spanish except for on Duolingo. So I help people practice, but I don't actually have like a normal conversation with people in my day-to-day life. So I try and keep up and write music in other languages as well.
good. Well, maybe I should bring my daughter to you. She could learn Spanish.
Definitely.
She's been watching all these YouTube shows. Well, let's talk about your life before you moved here in California. I mean, sorry, in the UK. You were in California. What were you doing? Were you working? Were you studying? What life has been?
Um,
Give us a picture.
I basically grew up in California. I moved there when I was about 4 years old, and I was a student, and I was at university. And it's a bit of a long story, but I basically met my now husband online. So I had a music YouTube channel, and he had a gaming channel, and he had more followers than me. I thought he was really cool, and we were online friends for 2 years. And then he decided to come and visit me, so he came and stayed for a few weeks, and then I went to visit him, and he came to visit me, and I went to visit him again. And about a year went by, and we were spending a lot of money on flights, and we were really depressed and down when we weren't together. And thankfully, my parents had been in a similar situation because my dad's from the US, my mom's from Argentina, so they completely understood and they were fully supportive of our relationship, which was really, really nice. And we sat down together as a family and basically said, my parents said, if you want to be together and you know that you want a future life together, what's the difference between getting married now and getting married in 5 years and spending all this money and being apart and being miserable all the time? If you want to do it, we fully support you. So on our 1 year anniversary, we got married, and we've been together for 7 years now. Well, technically 8, but married for 7. I moved to England in 2016, and I love it here. I didn't always love it, but I'm finally starting to feel like this is home now.
Wow, what a sweet, sweet love story. You were met online. This is interesting. Gaming channel and a music channel. You said you were a student. What were you studying back then?
So I was studying musical theater. And I
Mhm.
actually went to an international high school for performing arts, and I
Where was
collaborated with
this?
a girl there from England, and we got like 50,000 views in a week because we did an accent challenge. And so that's why I was looking for other British YouTubers to collaborate with. And then when I found him, he would send me like little boxes of English sweets, and then I'd send him American treats, and we kind of compared them on our channels. So it was just like a little fun thing that we did.
So where was this musical theater that you studied? Was it where was this in was it
So
in
the
Los
high
Angeles?
school was Idlewild Arts Academy, and then I
Oh,
went to University of Redlands for a semester.
oh, Redlands. Okay. All right. So you met. Was this also, was it 2015, right? Because you moved here in 2016.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
right.
Okay. So you then you didn't work at all when you were in California.
So I had a campus job for a bit, and then I started doing some waitressing. So it wasn't like a proper like
Yeah.
I didn't have a career there, and I've never lived in the US as an adult, so I don't really have a lot to compare on in that sense. But yeah, I did waitressing and did my singing
Mm,
in the background.
yeah. Did you ever try to make it into Hollywood dream of your career as a singer?
I think I was more at that time. I was more interested in doing Broadway, so I wanted to move to New York and have like a musical theater career. But yeah, life happens and things change. Um, I mean, I did work in the West End for a little bit when I moved over here, so I was just an usher, and I worked behind the scenes on shows. But I would like to maybe be in a pantomime one day or do some musical theater over here. It'd be quite fun.
Yeah. So you were 19 and your parents, it's wonderful that they were supportive of you, let alone to go into thousands of miles away.
Yeah, I don't think they prepared me for how difficult it was going to be. I think that's the thing that you touched on in your introduction is
Mm.
it's not just moving to another country and living this like Hollywood movie. You know, there's a lot of changes, a lot of things that you don't expect. And I think because I was so young as well, I had a lot of growing up to do. So all of a sudden, I went from being able to do music and being able to do creative things to having to get a job and having to learn to drive on the other side of the road and learning how to do taxes in two countries and all this admin stuff and all these visa applications and things that it just completely took away from the music for a bit. So thankfully, I've been able to get back into that over the last couple of years.
When did you start talking to be like, okay, we're going to be together, we're going to get married, and I'm going to move to the UK? What did he offer? What was the situation?
Well, we did it all quite quickly. So he came to visit me a second time it was the second or third time in December. And then he was meant to leave in January. And then he quit his job and decided to stay with me a little bit longer because we were both really sad at the thought of saying goodbye again. So he extended it by another month. And then a week before he left, he proposed. And that was coming up to our 1-year anniversary. And I didn't know when I'd see him again. So we just got married then and there. And I flew back with him. It was totally unexpected, complete whirlwind. I don't think my parents were expecting it to be that quick.
So you got married there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we got married over there. I came over here on a visitor visa, so I stayed here for 6 months. And then we learned about all the visa paperwork. So I didn't know any of that it's a nightmare, absolute nightmare. But because he had quit his job, he then wasn't meeting the minimum income requirements. So then he had to get another job and be in that job for 6 full months before I could reapply. So we were together for 6 months, and then I flew back, and then there was like a 3-month gap where we were waiting for the extra paperwork to come through. So I think we were married for about 10 months before we could actually live together properly, and I could actually work in the UK.
So did you say, I don't know if I heard it right, did you move back to the States?
So I was visiting here for 6 months when we were married, but I couldn't actually live here yet because I didn't have a visa.
Right.
So I was just visiting him for 6 months, and then I came back to the US to do my UK application because you have to do it from the US. You can't do it from within the country. And I needed some extra paperwork, and I didn't have enough time on my visa to stay a bit longer. So yeah, I had to come back. It was really annoying. But then he came back to visit, brought the last bits of paperwork, and then we applied together, which was nice.
But were you attracted with the UK before you actually moved here? I know you visited here.
Yeah, I didn't really know anything about it until I met Tom, who's my husband. I think I got a lot of information from movies. I thought everybody spoke like Hugh Grant, and I thought everyone was quite awkward and shy and serious. I didn't really know anything about the UK as such. I'd been to Argentina before, and I'd been to Malaysia, but I had never been to the UK, or Europe for that matter. So yeah, when I came to visit him for the first time, it was so different. I think I thought it was going to be more built up in the city, like, but he lives in the countryside. So it was amazing having these rolling hills and cows everywhere, and just like this beautiful, beautiful country. I think you just think London city, and there's so much more to England than just that. Well, so much more to the UK than just England. But yeah, there's amazing, amazing places here, and yeah, I was totally blown away.
You live which part of England right now?
So I live in Hampshire.
Okay, so you moved back to the States and process all the. Talk to me about the process. What are the things that I'm sure there's a lot of people that are listening to us right now that are planning or already in the process of doing it? What are the documents that they were requesting? And was it a lot? Was it hard? How hard was it?
It was pretty difficult. I think it's easier now because a lot of it's online, whereas before I had to do everything like physical papers. There's a lot of good resources online, different vlogs on YouTube, and also like Reddit threads. One that I used a lot was, I think it was called UK Yankee. I might be wrong. I think it's called UK Yankee. And it was basically just a thread of other people's experiences, because it's so different for each person, depending on your situation. If you have children, or if you're in a specific job sector, there's different ways to apply. So I can't really give advice that would be specific to the listener necessarily, but definitely do your research. You don't need a lawyer. I mean, I didn't need a lawyer. Maybe that's different for you, but I didn't need a lawyer. I just did my research online. I got all of my documents together, read through everything, made sure everything was correct, sent it off, and it was fine. But I know some people have more difficult or more complex situations. So just do your research, make sure that you've actually, you've got everything. If you're missing evidence for something, make sure that you've explained it properly in a letter to say why you don't have something. Yeah, for our first visa, I had to do I had to get screenshots of all of our chats just to show like our friendship and our history, because it was a really quick wedding, I think, in most people's eyes. So I didn't want them to think, there's anything weird going on. So I had to give them like our 2 years of friendship before then, and like all of our chat history, all of our call logs, all of our flights, all the trips that we took together. We needed pictures like with us, but also with friends and family, just to show that we have actually met in person before. And yeah, it was a really, really, really big box of paperwork. Maybe I went overboard, but I had about this much that I sent off originally. And then all the other applications since then have been online, and they've been really easy. So easy in my experience. I know it's not the same for everybody, but in my experience, it was pretty straightforward. I think once you've done the big one, everything else kind of makes more sense. You know what they're looking for. The other thing I would say to people is keep your mail. Keep your mail, because they want like 2.5 years of history for each application. So they want it in your name, in his or her name, and in both of your names as well, just to prove that you live at the same address. So keep your mail, and then have an amazing citizenship party afterwards and burn it all, get rid of it all. It was so great to get rid of all that clutter.
Right. I guess what they were looking for, I can see why they're doing it, because I think you mentioned you met online. It's an online dating. You want to make sure that this is a legit relationship, that you actually met. And I think it's the validity of the relationship, I guess. So whatever would that be to prove, that would support it. Like you said, the mails and the chats and the call logs.
Yeah, it was a
Was
lot
there
of admin. She paying me to do the application, not the other way around.
yeah. Was there a part of that application that you struggled?
This is very specific to me and my situation, but the difficult thing was proving where we were going to live. So we were going to live with his mum, and she owns the house through, I can't even remember. It's like she owns it through a will, basically. So she doesn't have like a mortgage or like specific bills that go out to that. So it was kind of hard to prove that we were allowed to live there. So I had to like go back in time and find the will and like find all of the documents that prove that she was allowed to live there, and then get permission from her written out to say that we were allowed to live there as well. And then with the paperwork, once I was actually living in the UK, it was quite hard for me to get, like, I couldn't be on the electoral roll. It was really difficult to get credit history because I didn't have anything prior. So like even buying a phone, they didn't want me to buy a phone and get like a phone contract. So actually building up that history and building up like the actual evidence that I did live and work here was really difficult at first. I remember I got my first job and then I couldn't get a bank account. And I couldn't get a bank account because I couldn't sign up with the GP because the GP wanted a proof of address. But then I couldn't get a proof of address, like a bank account, without having something from the GP. So it was like all these things going on. I was like, I have a job, but I don't know how to get paid. Like, what do I do? It was really annoying.
Like a catch-22. And how about the funds? Was it expensive?
It was very expensive, yeah. I've talked about it a bit on my TikTok, and not complaining, just like stating what I've paid over the years, and people get really angry. They're like, it should cost more. How dare you? What do you want us to do? Pay for you? And like, no. I'm just saying, as a 19-year-old who had no prior like career experience really, and all of a sudden having all these bills and, you know, paying for driving lessons and paying for citizenship tests and, you know, all of these visa applications in between, it got really expensive really quickly. I think it was about 10 grand altogether. And that's if you don't have children. You know, I know it's like for an extra, I could be wrong, but I think it's like an extra 2 grand per child, like for your income that you have to meet. So meeting that requirement and also saving up enough to reapply every 2 years was really, really hard.
10,000. Was it roughly, from the time before you moved here until you got your citizenship, or?
Yeah, and I'm including the tests and things as well. Thankfully, I had to take the test once, but that was like £50 a time as well. So thankfully, I didn't have to redo that.
Well, there's also a fee when you take the test. So my next question is, when you moved here, before you moved here, did you have any expectation or any idea what life would you have when you get here?
Oh, I don't really know what I expected. I think I was so like in this little love bubble, just a little fairy tale, and just everything's going to work out. And it has worked out in the end, but I didn't really have a plan, so I kind of just hit the ground running and went for the first job I could get, and just kind of put my head down and worked as hard as I could before I could actually experience the UK. And I think that's why I struggled so much like the first 2 or 3 years, because it was just trying to find my feet, trying to find out like where I fit in this community, trying to make friends and trying to find like what I wanted to actually do over here. Whereas now I actually have, you know, a stable job, a house, a nice dog and a husband. And I feel like I can actually like experience the UK as a local now. Like I feel like I belong here and yeah, I can actually do what I enjoy doing now instead of just worrying about living day to day and trying to figure out what I'm going to do next so I can stay here.
But was there anything at all that when you get here, oh, it's not what you think it is?
I think it's more of like the convenience of things that I was missing out on. So like 24-hour stores, or having like a big store that had everything, like a Walmart or a Target. Whereas I think here it's not as bad now, or maybe I'm just used to it now, but when I first moved here, it was like one store does one thing. If you want groceries, you go to the grocery store and that's all they sell, nothing else. You want to go buy clothes, you buy clothes, but they don't have anything else there. Whereas Walmart had like clothes and groceries and electronics and things for your house and things for your pets, and it had like everything in one place. So I think having like the convenience of that, and the extended hours as well. Also, petrol stations shut at 10 p.m. and I still forget that even now. If you don't calculate for that when you're driving home, oh, it's so stressful. Just trying to get there on time before they close. Also, things closing at 4 p.m. on a Sunday. It's I get it, but it's annoying. It's annoying. I wish it was.
It's really more of the convenience of life, because as you say, Americans are spoiled. Well, talking about experience, I was listening to this music on my way home today. I want to make sure I understand who this person I'm talking to and where his heart is. The song that you shared to me, Whole Again. Tell me about it. It
Oh,
said,
that's
I
one of my favorite ones.
yeah, it's really beautiful. I've always given little pieces of myself away. I thought no matter how much I gave, my leaves would grow back someday. Talk to me about it.
So Whole Again is about kind of what we spoke about before, about trying to replant and reroute your life somewhere else, and not feeling complete anymore. So no matter how hard you try, how how much you try and fill those pieces back in, there's always something missing. And I'll never be whole again, which is what the song's about. I tried to relate it to plants, and
Mm.
how you can cut leaves off and put them in other pots and regrow them, and they can survive in other areas, but they'll never actually be part of that original plant again. So you'll never be completely whole again.
Yes, there was also some lines about being shattered or fragmented. My heart's been fragmented. Is it? You said Is this a part of your personal journey? Being you moving to another country.
Definitely. I think when you move, you leave a lot of you actually behind that you don't realize. So yeah, I think my heart is in a ton of different places, and wherever I go, wherever I meet people that I connect with and I love and appreciate, I leave a part of myself with them. And I think when I first moved over here, I started to worry that I had nothing left. It was just like this empty void, and like all of these things were in different places, and I wanted to call them back to me. But I've learned that I can regrow that love and build up a community here, and still have those other pieces of me alive in other areas. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's very, very powerful. Listening to you, heart is being fragmented, and and you will never be whole again. It really struck me when I was listening to it in the car, because these are the things that probably many people who are thinking of moving anywhere and wherever they're going, that they should really think about it, because it's heavy. It's heavy,
It's
like
life changing.
it's how you describe it now. You left a lot, or maybe almost all of you, that you can that part where you said you'll never be whole again. It's just there's something that you've lost, and then you can never have it back again. It's really very strong listening to it.
Thank you. I hope that people can connect with it. I think if you haven't been in that situation yourself, it might come across a bit dramatic or a bit overly done, but it's really how I felt in that moment. And I think something that, again, I said this earlier, but with with homesickness, it's not just missing the place. It's like dealing with the grief that you'll never get, that experience, that exact life back, because it's so different. It's changed while you've been away, and you've changed while you've been away. So, it will never be the same again. But I tried to put a positive spin in it towards the end, because I know it's hard and it is sad moving away and going through all these changes, but I think there's beauty in regrowing in this rebirth, like just having another chance at life again and starting over is quite a powerful thing. Yeah, I think the song was more of like the acceptance, like it's going through the grief of it, but then just accepting, like, this is who I am now. I'm always going to have a piece missing, but that's okay. I'm still here. I can still get through the day, and I'm changed now, and I'll never be the same, but that's okay.
I've always given little pieces of myself away. I thought no matter how much I gave, my leaves would grow back someday. But I'm down to my last petals. How on earth am I supposed to grow when the sky is gray like it is today? Home is where the heart is, but mine's apart in pieces. One on land and two across the sea. My heart's been fragmented, and I can't circumvent it. never be whole again. I never thought that uprooting my life could hurt this much. I thought I'd be okay as long as my offcuts were loved. Once a rose, now turned to mush. Maybe because I've lost touch with the original parts of me. I'm lost. Home is where the heart is, but mine's apart in pieces. One on land and two across the sea. My heart's been fragmented and I can't circumvent it. Oh, I know I'll never be whole again. I know I'll never be. I know I'll never be. I'll never be. I'll never be whole again. Never tell the truth when they ask me how I am. Every smile is a lie, I keep telling again. Home is where the heart is, but mine's apart in pieces. One on land and two across the sea. Time goes on and I pretend that someday I'll be fully mended, but I know I'll never be whole again.
Tell me more about your other favorites among the songs that you have written.
One of them is called Butterflies, which is about my husband. It's
Yes,
about
favorite too.
it's about having all that time apart and then really excited to see them again. You don't know if you should hug them or you should kiss them or like how you should react when you see them because it's been so long, but you've got butterflies in your stomach and you're so excited to just like get to the gate. You know, you have to go through all the passport security and have to deal with all the paperwork and all the boring stuff, but you just want to get there. You just want to see them. And you're just really excited, you know, to say hello again.
Landed in the rainiest city in the world, but somehow I still feel like the luckiest girl. Have you been? How's your dog? Have you missed me? When you see me, will you wanna kiss me? Not a cloud in the sky could ruin today.
So that's Butterflies. And then there's another one called Things Take Time. And that's more about my journey as a songwriter. So I saw Oh Wonder, which is a band. I saw them right before lockdown. It was March 2020. And there was a band that opened for them called Dizzy. And I fell in love with them instantly. I was obsessed with their music. They got me through all the pandemic. I was really lucky that I saw them when I saw them. And I remember watching the girl on stage, and she just completely mesmerized me. I was just like, wow, I would love to be up there and be so comfortable and make amazing music and just have a great time. And she was so thankful of everyone who came. I remember something that she kept saying to people: thank you for coming early. Thank you for actually coming to see us. So thank you for coming early stuck with me. And I thought I'd write a song about it. And it was more about wanting to be confident and have the ability to write the way that she does. It's basically just a big fan song about them. But yeah, I think things take time, is something that applies to everything in my life, really. You just kind of have to be patient with yourself and know that things will get better.
Pretty girl, head to toe in white, golden hair dancing in the Bristol light. We lock eyes and you thank me for coming early. You spark something inside of me, and I try to paint pictures with the colors that you see. But whenever I try to, I just get dizzy. I wish I could see the stars and moons. I wish I was brave enough to speak my mind. Wish I could make beautiful phrases rhyme. And I wish my body wouldn't tremble in the spotlight. But I guess these things take time. All good things take time. Pretty girl, head to toe in white. I don't know your name yet, but your voice lives in my mind. I think that we met at the perfect time, when the world turned dark as night. You lit Roman candles and they filled up my whole sky. You planted the sunflowers in my eyes. But I wish I could see the stars and moons. I wish I was brave enough to speak my mind. Wish I could make beautiful phrases rhyme. And I wish my body wouldn't tremble in the spotlight. But I guess these things take time. All good things take time. Maybe one day, maybe one day, maybe one day I'll be like you. Maybe one day, maybe one day, maybe one day I'll be like you. One day I'll be brave enough to speak my mind like you. I'll learn how to make beautiful phrases rhyme. Ooh. And one day my body will shimmer in the spotlight. But I guess these things take time. All good things take time. Pretty girl, head to toe in white, golden hair dancing in the Bristol light. We lock eyes and you thank me for coming early.
All right, welcome back to F. Barker Human Interest. We are still with our guest, who is a singer-songwriter from California. Hello, Grace. Talking about these fitting in and your experience, was there a time or was there a part of your experience where you had really difficulty fitting in?
Yeah,
And,
I
and or thinking about whether you had made a right decision?
yeah, I think the first year here was the hardest. I definitely did think about moving back. I always thought, I think the original plan was I'd get my citizenship and I'd move straight back because I didn't want to do all the visa paperwork again. Because once you're on one visa, if you leave throughout that process, it starts all over again. So I wanted to finish the visa so I don't have to worry about it ever again and then move straight back. I didn't really want to be here the first couple of years. But now I'm the complete opposite. I don't want to move back. But I really struggled with, for one, making friends. That was something that I don't know. I always thought that I was quite outgoing and easy to chat to. But I think, I don't know, maybe because of my age and people were still in school and things, I wasn't really meeting people with, with my age or similar interests and things. So I met people at work, but they didn't really, I think your work life doesn't really mix with your personal life as much. So it was kind of hard to meet people that way. And I didn't drive for a long time, and I regret doing that. I wish that I started driving straight away because I put it off for so long, and I built it up in my head that it was this really big thing. And it really limited like where I could go, who I could see, when I could see them. So I relied on my mother-in-law and my husband quite a lot to take me around, and my brother-in-law. Thank you, everybody, for taking me everywhere. But yeah, I wish that I had done that sooner because it would give me a lot more freedom and I could actually go out and meet new people. So I started going to an a cappella choir and I met people that way, and they had similar interests. It was nice to meet people who were in the music community again. And then I was really fortunate that my husband went to school with a really nice group of people. There was a guy group and a girl group, and then they all would celebrate birthdays and things together. And the girl group adopted me, and they're so lovely. And I'm just really grateful that they actually took me in and they liked me, and I'm part of that group now, which is nice. And then I slowly started making some friends on my own as well. That was the hardest thing, I think, was making one-to-one connections where it wasn't just like just normal, like not superficial, like a surface level conversation, just like, hi, how are you? The weather is awful, that kind of thing. I wanted to get to know somebody one-to-one and like have a deeper connection with them, and which is hard to do in a group setting. So I was really keen to try and find people one-on-one that wanted to have a friendship.
Was there an advantage of being an American and or a disadvantage?
Well, I moved here in 2016. We all know who the president was at that time. And so that made things quite awkward for me. I didn't vote for them and I didn't agree with them at all. But it was always the main conversation that would come up. Oh, you're from America. What do you think of so-and-so? So I hate to say it, but like I did feel a little embarrassed to be American. And I think the media over here, I know it's just banter, but like a lot of media outlets like to poke fun at Americans, and we don't do ourselves any favors. I do get it. But there were times where I think 2017 particularly was a really bad time for me. I started to, I didn't want people to know I was from America. I found myself being more and more quiet. I didn't want people to hear me on the train. I didn't want to get asked about it on the phone, so I tried not to make phone calls if I could help it and just email people. So yeah, I think I started to really close off that part of me, and I wasn't ashamed at any time, but I don't know, I just didn't want the confrontation or the drama around it. So yeah, I think I just wanted to fit in, put my head down, don't make eye contact with anyone, don't make things awkward for yourself, just try and fit in the best you can. But that made me miserable. That was, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. I would tell myself now, just be yourself. Just, be proud of who you are and where you came from. And, it makes you unique. Not everyone is the same. That's boring if everyone was the same. Like, people actually really like that about me. And yeah, I do get asked a lot of questions about it now, but I don't mind. I like keeping that part of myself alive because it's who I am.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of a sadness. I can sense it when you look back of that time when there was a different leader in our country,
Mm-hmm.
and that is reflected to how you were treated here.
Hmm.
And I feel like it's upsetting.
Yeah, I mean, I never experienced like online is different, but in person, I never had bad treatment. Online, definitely, 100%. But that's what the internet does. Um, but yeah, I think it was more
'Cause-
of like jokes here and there, or like comments about like, the stupid American, the loud, obnoxious American, or we don't have the best gun laws. We don't have any gun laws. So just like comments about that, and sometimes they were quite insensitive. And I don't think they meant it in that way. Like to them, it was funny. I think, the sense of humor here is a little bit different, and if you're not coming from that place, it doesn't affect you as much, I guess. So, yeah, at first I would take it really personally, and now I'm kind of like, yeah, well, it is what it is.
Right. Because a lot of people really are more courageous to say things when they're just on their keyboard. They won't say
Oh
that on
yeah.
your face, you
Oh
know.
yeah. There was a
Yeah.
person, it was so unprovoked. I think it was a post, it was just a normal post about like the different visa applications I was doing. And I was like dancing to music, and I had like the costs of each one that I had paid. And this guy was like, I hope you never get citizenship. You don't belong here. And I was like, whoa, okay, sorry. Like, I'm just trying to live my life. Yeah, people get really angry about it. When I say people, I don't mean people in my day-to-day life. Like everyone out here has been really, really lovely. And I think people just like people on the internet in particular just look for an outlet and will find anything to hate. They'll hate kittens if they want to hate kittens, like it's just like an easy target. So yeah, I don't take it personally anymore.
Yeah, but it's bad when you are in a different country. You're trying to start your life, and you feel ashamed of who you are, because that's how people made you feel like it.
Yeah.
Like what you
Yeah.
said, is at that time you felt ashamed of being an American. You kind of hide it.
I think also because I was so young when I came over here, I had a lot of growing up to do. I'm still growing up, but I think I just felt really lost. I didn't really know who I was just yet. Whereas I think if I came over here when I was a bit older, I'd have a bit more understanding of like how the world works and how I want to be in that world. But yeah, I think because I was so young and everything was so new and scary, I just kind of closed everything off and just got really small.
Yeah. How about the workplace? Was it easy to find a job? And what's the environment like when you were working? And on top of that, being an American.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. My first job was at Costa. It took me a couple of weeks to find something. So yeah, I worked at Costa for a good few months, and I quite enjoyed it. And the people were always quite nice, except for the people who were the coffee connoisseurs and they wanted the coffee a certain way. I was like, just make it at home then. Why are you coming here and complaining to me? This is how we make coffee here. But yeah, I did work at a theatre in London for a bit, which I really enjoyed. And I did have one bad experience, but it wasn't bad. It was just weird. This guy came in, and I don't know what his problem was, but I had to like tear people's tickets when they came into the building just to like prove that they were there. And this guy wanted to use the bathroom, which was upstairs. So I said, okay, well, I just need to pull your ticket stub just to prove you're here, but you can come in and out of the building as you please. You can still keep your other ticket. And he was like, no, I'm not doing that. And I was like, well, I'm just doing my job. I just need to take that. It's just a little thing. It won't, affect your night in any way. He's like, oh, well, you're an American. I don't trust a word you people say. And I was like, well, what do you mean you people? Like, I'm what? I live here. Like, this is my home now. So that kind of threw me off guard. But I think that's the only like bad to my face experience I've had. I know people who've experienced much worse. I know people who've had difficult times with their actual families, and sometimes their in-laws don't approve of their marriage, and they don't understand their background and their culture. So there's always a clash there. But no, I've been really lucky in terms of family and friends. They've welcomed me with open arms, and I've been able to talk to them and rant to them about anything and everything. So it's really important to have somebody there that will listen. And I think when you're first moving over here and you don't have that support group and you don't know a lot of people, I think I would say like I am a big advocate for therapy and to have somebody to get this off your chest, because I don't think you fully realize like how much it impacts you and like how deep an effect it actually has. Like I'm actually getting emotional now. But yeah, it's really important like to be able to process it fully and to be able to live your life fully over here, you need to unpack all of that. There's a lot of gunk in there that you need to get out. So definitely talk to someone if you can.
Right. You get emotional right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it because does it involve, you miss your family?
Yeah.
Do you have a big family?
Yeah, so I have my parents, my grandparents. I have a half brother and a half sister and their families as well. So it's nice to go back and visit them. But it's usually every like 2 years or every other year. So we try and do like every other Christmas. This year's different. We actually came in the summertime because my husband had never been to California in the sunshine. So I wanted him to experience like a proper American desert in the heat, which, yeah, he wasn't thrilled about it, but we still had a good time. But because we went in summer, we're now missing out on Christmas this year because we can't really afford 2 trips in 1 year. So it might be next year now, but our schedule's kind of thrown now. So I don't know when our next visit will be. But my parents are starting to travel a bit more now. So they actually came to visit in, I think it was May or June. It was right around the Queen's Jubilee, which was really nice for them to experience that. It was very, very English. We had a little street party. They got to meet all of my neighbors and experience a little bit of British life, which was nice. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to travel back and forth a bit more now. But yeah, I would really like for my family to be able to come here more as well. But it is an 11-hour flight. It's very expensive. I understand, like, it's hard.
Okay, before we move forward, let's take a short break and let's listen to one of our songs. It's called Tough Love. And when we come back, we'll get to know more of Grace's experience when she was working here in the UK and what are her other plans now that she is a British American citizen.
We never ever make it easy. We always gotta learn the hard way. Tough love. We never ever make it easy. We always gotta learn the hard way. Tough love. Remember when there was a time we used to make each other shine? We used to laugh, we used to love, but we were cursed from up above. I loved you then, I love you now. I miss you when you're not around. The words you say push me away, but I still want you to stay. It's never enough, that's what all your actions say. But I'm calling your bluff, you're giving me tough love. We never ever make it easy. We always gotta learn the hard way. Tough love. We never ever make it easy. We always gotta learn the hard way. Tough love. We try to put the pieces back before another heart attack, but no matter what we do, things don't work out like they're supposed to. Maybe we just like the pain. Never sunshine, always rain. But whenever there's sunlight, you and I, we burn so bright. It's never enough, that's what all your actions say. But I'm calling your bluff, you're giving me tough love. We never ever make it easy. We always gotta learn the hard way. Tough love. We never ever make it easy. We always gotta learn the hard way. Tough love. I don't know how to fix this, but I do anything for your kisses. Oh, it's never enough, that's what all your actions say. But I'm calling your bluff, you're giving me tough love. We always gotta learn the hard way, tough love. We never ever make it easy. We always gotta learn